Chicken jockey!
Minecraft is a game that I never really gotten into. It wasn't the basic graphics, I just didn't like the gameplay. But when I heard they're making a movie adaptation of the game, I immediately dismissed it. I have seen so many game adaptations over the years, and none of them could really hit the mark. Even with a pre-built story, the movie adaptation seemed to mock up and just play it safe. And obviously, throughout the years, they just bombed. But the Minecraft game barely has a real story. Essentially, it just has a goal. And hell, you can play it for hours and hours and hours and not even finish the entire thing and still get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So a movie adaptation? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Minecraft. Minecraft is a kids' fantasy comedy adventure movie directed by Jared Hess and written by Chris Bowman, Hubble Palmer, Neil Wilder, Gavin James, and Chris Galetta. The film was shot mostly on green screen environment and leans heavily on YouTube references, gaming references, and general pop culture phenomenon of the game rather than established lore. Minecraft, being an open world sandbox game, allows players to roam around and build anything and everything their hearts desire. The game has a built-in mechanic that allows almost total freedom, meaning if you can mine your way to afford it, you can build it. But it has no inherent story. The premise of the movie tells of Steve, a failed salesman that finds a mysterious device that transports him into the Minecraft world. There, he discovers that he can fulfill his boyhood dreams of mining for riches and building his fantasy world. But he also finds out that this world has a lot of enemies, the kind that covet this device in order to break out of the Minecraft world and into the real one. So, to protect the world he left behind, he sends the device back into the real world for safekeeping. Years later, it is found by a young kid called Henry who just arrived in this town with his sister. The siblings struggle because their parents just died, but when the boy finds the device, all hell breaks loose as he finds himself, his sister, their realtor, and a local gaming store owner all transported into the Minecraft world. The main roles in this movie and the main selling points are Jack Black, who plays Steve, and Jason Momoa playing Garrett Garrison. It was obvious to me that Jack Black was cast because of his thing. In the past decade or so, Black has a certain shtick, which you can say has been happening for 20 years, but I will give him some grace. That shtick fits really well with the concept of the story that the director and the writers were trying to tell. But it also fits with the basic crowd bracket this movie is aimed for. Black is known for playing the game famously with one of the most famous Minecraft YouTubers, PewDiePie. But personally, I don't like that stuff, and I don't like Jack Black's acting, and it was really hard for me to sit in the theater and enjoy this movie. It was a different story altogether with Jason Momoa. I've seen him in so many different roles, from SG Atlantis to Conan the Barbarian. So the role of Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison was way off base for him. Well, not totally way off base, but you'll get the point once you see the movie. The Garrett character isn't based on somebody specific, but more of an amalgamation of a few different elements. He is partly a wrestling guy, partly the comic book guy from The Simpsons, a half amalgamation between Billy Mitchell and Dr. Disrespect. And if you don't know these characters, don't worry. Let's just say that the character is also aimed at a specific crowd bracket. But on the face of it, I really enjoyed him in that role. As for the other actors, there were mostly fresh faces. Emma Myers playing the sister, Sebastian Hansen playing Henry, and Daniel Brooks playing the realtor slash petting zoo owner. And they all did a serviceable job, nothing amazing. But what stuck up as a sore thumb for me in this movie is Jennifer Coolidge playing the high school principal. Essentially, she played into her Stifler's mom stereotype with a sprinkling of her Legally Blonde character persona, and her whole side storyline was so ham-fisted and so unnecessary in this movie, I really couldn't enjoy it, and it was my least favorite part. Almost every movie has a demographic it aims for, especially nowadays where everything is made with a focus group and stats and all that. But it felt to me that this time around, the movie's creators, not the executives, knew the audience they were aiming for. It was an audience of preteens, teens, and young adults that grew up watching YouTubers playing this game and making hilarious, story-driven videos for their audience to consume. It is those kids that will pick up on certain story elements or places or people that an adult will not. These are the generation of kids that grew up with PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, and Jacksepticeye, and of course more and more of their kind, as entertainment. These are the people who made up stories in a game that had none. So when certain things came up on screen or a story element that was talked about, the audience in the crowd knew exactly the references and reacted positively to it. And this is why I feel like the movie is doing so well. That, of course, and the fact that the age of the audience is most likely to go with a parent and force them into buying a ticket to a movie that will probably not interest them all that much. In all honesty, I did not like this movie at all. Even at my supreme age, being a denizen of YouTube, I got most of the references that were talked about, but the movie didn't do it for me at all. Jason Momoa's character was a highlight for me, and only because I knew the inspiration going into it and how it actually worked well with the storyline. But yet, it is another CGI-filled adventure story with obvious story beats, plot twists, and an obviously predetermined ending. But with that said, I am fully aware that this was literally not made for me, so I can't really judge it that harshly. I'm just gonna put it in the pile of movies that hit the mark in a specific time with a specific audience that 20 years from now will probably have nostalgia for the flick, but when they revisit it, they will ask themselves, why did I ever love this piece of shit? I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.